The Galactic Academy's Xenobiology lecture hall fell into hushed silence as Instructor Vex 9 activated the containment field controls. The towering insectoid professor's mandibles clicked with what the students had learned to recognize as anticipation. Today, class, we demonstrate the apex predatory instincts of juvenile Kethvar specimens, Vex 9 announced, his compound eyes gleaming. Observe how these cubs, barely 3 standard cycles old, already possess the hunting prowess that makes their species the most feared in the Outer Rim. Liana shifted uncomfortably in her seat, her dark eyes darting to her study partner Raza. The human exchange students had been at the academy for only 2 months, and every lesson seemed designed to remind them how fragile their species was compared to the rest of the galaxy. Raza caught her worried glance and offered a reassuring smile. "It'll be fine," he whispered. "They're just babies, right?" The containment field shimmered and disappeared. 3 creatures the size of large house cats bounded into the lecture hall, their midnight black fur rippling over corded muscle. 6 legs carried each cub with fluid grace, while bioluminescent stripes along their spines pulsed with an ominous red glow. Their eyes, too many eyes, scanned the room with predatory intelligence that seemed far too advanced for their age. The diverse collection of students instinctively pressed back in their seats. The crystalline Zephyrians chimed nervously, their bodies dimming to near transparency. The gas-based nebulans condensed into tighter, more defensive forms. Even the taur, armored Korathans, twice the size of humans, shifted uneasily. "Notice their immediate assessment of potential prey," Vex 9 continued, seemingly oblivious to his students' discomfort. "The Kethvar cubs will select the weakest target first, a survival trait that has served their species well across countless worlds." The 3 cubs had indeed begun moving, but not in the chaotic, scattered pattern everyone expected. Instead, they moved with purpose, their multiple eyes all focused on the same section of the lecture hall. Liana felt her heart race as she realized where they were heading. "Raza," she breathed. The cubs had locked onto the human section of the classroom. Students scrambled to get out of the way as the 3 predators bounded up the tiered seating with impossible agility. Vex 9's mandibles clicked faster, confusion replacing confidence. "Curious," the instructor muttered. "They should be circling, evaluating, selecting the optimal target." The lead cub, slightly larger than its siblings, reached Raza's row first. The young human sat perfectly still, hands resting calmly on his desk, watching the approaching predator with steady brown eyes. "Raza, don't move," Liana whispered urgently, but instead of stopping at a safe distance to stalk its prey, the cub did something that made the entire lecture hall gasp in collective disbelief. It chirped. Not a growl, not a snarl, not the bone-chilling hunting cry that Kethvar were famous for. A soft, almost musical sound that somehow conveyed happiness. The cub launched itself directly at Raza, who instinctively caught it against his chest. The predator, capable of tearing through reinforced hull plating, began to purr, a deep, rumbling sound that resonated through the sudden silence of the lecture hall. "What in the 7 moons?" Vex 9 trailed off as the 2nd and 3rd cubs reached the humans, both immediately climbing into Liana's lap with the same contented chirping. Liana found herself automatically stroking the incredibly soft fur of the cubs, her fear melting away as they settled against her like oversized, multi-legged cats. Their bioluminescent stripes shifted from threatening red to a warm, golden glow. "This is unprecedented," Vex 9 stammered, consulting his datapad frantically. Kethvar cubs show no affection even to their own species outside of immediate family units. They certainly don't exhibit bonding behavior with potential prey species. Raza looked down at the cub in his arms, which had now curled up completely, tucking its 6 legs beneath its body. "Maybe they don't see us as prey," he said quietly. "Impossible," Vex 9 clicked. "Humans register on every known predator-prey assessment matrix as primary targets. Your species lacks natural armor, defensive capabilities, enhanced senses, toxic secretions. But we have something else," Liana interrupted, gently scratching behind one cub's ears. The creature's purring intensified, joined by its siblings. We have pack instincts, social bonding. Maybe they can sense that. A Corathan student in the front row, brave enough to speak up despite the unprecedented situation, raised an armored appendage. Instructor, could it be that humans emit some form of chemical signal? Pheromones indicating non-threat status? Vex 9's mandibles clicked rapidly as he took readings with various instruments. No unusual chemical signatures, no pheromone emissions. This makes no scientific sense. Raza exchanged a look with Liana over the heads of the contented cubs. They both understood something the rest of the class, the rest of the galaxy, seemed to miss about humanity. Maybe it's not about what we lack, Raza said, addressing the room. Maybe it's about what we offer. And what could a species like yours possibly offer apex predators? Vex 9 demanded, though his tone had shifted from academic superiority to genuine curiosity. Liana smiled, continuing to pet the cubs who showed no inclination to leave their human companions. Acceptance, friendship, the promise that we won't hurt them even though they could hurt us. The golden glow from the cubs' stripes pulsed brighter, as if responding to her words. Humans, Raza continued, we're social creatures. We form bonds, across species lines all the time. Maybe these cubs can sense that we're not just looking at them as predators or threats. We're looking at them as, well, as babies who might need comfort. As if to prove his point, the cub in his lap stretched, yawned to reveal impressive fangs, then settled back down for what appeared to be a nap. The lecture hall remained silent for several long moments. Finally, Vex 9 set down his instruments and approached the humans slowly. In 40 standard years of xenobiology instruction, he said quietly, I have never seen Kethvar cubs exhibit this behavior. Not once. He paused, studying the peaceful scene before him. Perhaps, Vex 9 continued, there are aspects of interspecies, dynamics that cannot be measured by our instruments or predicted by our models. Perhaps the galaxy has underestimated what humans bring to the cosmic community. Liana looked around the lecture hall at her classmates, dozens of species from across the galaxy, all watching in fascination as three of the most dangerous predators in known space slept peacefully in human laps. Maybe, she said softly, the galaxy just needs to learn that being strong isn't always about being the biggest or the most dangerous. Sometimes it's about being the species others feel safe enough to trust. The cubs purred on, their golden light filling the lecture hall. With warmth, and for the first time since arriving at the academy, the human students felt like they truly belonged among the stars.